Good afternoon, officially now. My name is Bob Malte. I'm the Vice President of Channel Sales for Evolve IP. I've been with the company a little over 2 years. I've been in this space forever. So a lot of the names in terms of this market down here are very familiar. With me today is Tyler Thompson. Tyler, you want to raise your hand back in the room? Tyler is the channel manager for the Southeast, so he's the primary point of contact for anybody in this room. If you've got an opportunity or you have a question or you want to engage with us on an event or whatever it may be, Tyler's that primary contact, and he's a good guy. He's very responsive, which he understands is pretty critical to the channel. So I want to talk today about Evolve IP, some of the things that are happening in the industry, some of the trends, and what we do and how we can position you as a partner to get the most share of wallet, right? So objectives here today are, here we go. Number one, just talk game over. The cloud's the winner here. I mean, if you look at some of the statistics I'll share with you today, if you're not making that shift and pivoting and moving to the cloud, you're missing a great opportunity. I've been in this space for a long time. I was here for the transition to hosted voice and watched people build, very, very successful businesses that have put them in a wonderful place for not only their generation, but future generations on that shift, learning that new technology that was coming and jumping on board. So this is it. We'll talk a little bit about what we feel is the Evolve IP difference, our core propositions, how they impact you as a partner, your bottom line, and what it can do for you. We'll highlight 2 of our 5 core products, that we think are the up-and-coming products. You'll hear some familiar words, some familiar phrases as we go through because, we will talk about desktop as a service, how you can leverage resources, and then a finished slide in terms of making money with Evolve IP. So we do a survey every year. We've been doing it for 7 years. This year, we had a little over 1,500 IT professionals respond. And what we've seen historically is an increased acceptance and adoption of the cloud. So 92% of businesses that we polled felt that the cloud was the future of mid-market. 70% of them have already started to look at or migrated to the cloud, right? 72% also felt that they had compliance issues that they were facing as an organization, right, in terms of their IT and managing their own IT. And then 50% of respondents also said, hey, if I can make all this stuff work together, it's a lot of technology. If I can find someone who can deliver a package of services that makes all of this work together in a coherent way that works for me and my customers, then I'd prefer to do business with them. 2 clicks. So just a little difference. We'll talk about customized cloud services, the best of breed solutions that we offer, our One Cloud, which is our connect once, secure, and add services. Our architecture, talk a little bit about how we're invested in our partners' future, and then talk about our leading industry customer sat. So our One Cloud is the solution. Connect once, secure, and add additional services and continue to grow revenue, okay? We avoid the complication of multiple vendors, multiple MSAs, multiple point of contacts to call when there's an issue, okay? And get to market faster. Once that MSA is signed, if you need a service and it's in our portfolio, call. We deliver that service to you. More revenue for our partners, and we'll show you how that plays later. And then gain buying power. The more services you buy from a vendor, historically, the greater rates you get from that partner. So talk a little bit about our One Cloud and our compliant, world-class compliant architecture. We use best of breed service providers and hardware at our base, right? So if you were an IT provider today and you were basically going to go out and you had an unlimited budget and you wanted to buy the best of breed in order to deliver services, you would buy a lot of the names right here on this list. That's what we've done. We've bought best of breed, and we now deliver it as a service to our customers and enable that way. We have 5 core service areas: disaster recovery, desktop as a service, infrastructure as a service, okay, contact centers, and unified communications. Out of those 5, 4 of those are Gartner recognized. Okay? So you walk in the door with a service provider that's Gartner recognized in 4 out of their 5 core products that they offer. And we're also, our certifications are third-party audited, okay? Very, very big, especially in finance and in healthcare, 2 of the fastest growing, and also an area where there's a lot of consolidation going on. In those areas, if you don't have these certifications, these compliances, there's some challenges, right? And it's very hard to do, and it takes a lot of money as a company to get these certifications on your own. HITRUST, it's the newest for the healthcare industry. It's sort of taking the front of the market now. Financial companies are looking at what do they need to modify in HITRUST to make it compliant for all financial institutions also. So third party, so if you do get audited or you do have an auditor that comes in and says, hey, we want to look at things, we basically pass you the book of our audit. We're audited every year. You hand that to the compliance officer and they can go on and find their next victim, right? So what does that lead to? World-class architecture, okay? Multiple, one single point of contact call for a number of your services. Some other things that we talk about. Our employee retention rate is 94%. We don't lose people. The team that basically stood up our original BroadSoft platform, as I try and speak here, they're still with us, every single one of them. That consistency in terms of our employees leads to consistency and stability in what we offer out to our end customers, right? So typically, if you buy a service today, before that contract comes to term, usually 3 years from now, our customers add 2.2 services. That results in almost 40% in additional revenue on that account before that contract expires. More services also lead to longer terms and renewals. So it's a big one for us. 98% customer retention. I mean, we do not lose customers. And a 95% customer satisfaction rate from our customers in terms of what we're doing and how we're doing it for them. So let's talk about the bottom line. And here's just one example. If you look at the life cycle, every 2 years, you're probably looking at your network and deciding, what am I going to do here? How am I going to continue to provide the connectivity that I need for my customers? What are the rates out there? What can I get? Every 3 years, customers are looking at, what am I doing with my desktops? Do I have to refresh my PCs, my physical devices, laptops, everything else? Every 4 to 5 years, they're looking at servers. And every 7 to 10 years, it's phone systems. How many people in the room focus primarily on phone systems? Okay. Every 7 to 10 years, you're getting an app. However, if you look at the other services that exist in our portfolio, you've got more reasons to go in the door. And it's not just every 2 years for the network or every 3 years for the desktop or the service. There's a lot going on in the background. There's Office 365. We provide Office 365 as a service. Okay? There's backup. Okay? A lot of the same services that Andrew offers, very similar in terms of where we operate on our compute side. A lot of similar names also. Just different platform. They do Citrix, one of the 800-pound gorillas. We do VMware, the other 800-pound gorilla. Travel safe. There's also DR, right? Same thing. Backup's one thing. Data sits there. It's there for you if you need it. DR is, I'm down, and how quickly can I get back, okay, up and running for my business? Help desk. We offer IT as a service. So if you do your desktop as a service with us and Office 365 and you don't want to deal with all your users or the customer doesn't want to deal with all their users who forget their password or don't know how to get into a certain application, whatever it may be, we provide that as a service. Monetizes it for you, and it gets it out of the hands of the IT departments that are already trying to do too much with too little, and puts the onus on us. Security. You got your compliance, SD-WAN. We're an SD-WAN provider also. So not only can we provide you with the services, but we can connect you on a single platform once securely and continue to add services behind it. International. We have locations throughout Europe and Asia Pac where we provide the same UCaaS service we provide here in the States It's the same exact service, delivered the same exact way, at the same exact price, on the same platform that we do it here in the US. So basically, in 2017, 42% of our revenue came from existing customers buying more services. And a lot of times that happens without partner involvement. Again, we want to work with you wherever you want to work with us, but a lot of times a customer has established a relationship with us and they call in and they say, hey, you know, I've got this. Do you guys have, you know, Office 365? Yeah, we'll sell it and the partner will just see the revenue coming, commissions coming in their next check. So there's multiple ways of doing it, but 42% is a big number, and that's based on the breadth of our portfolio. So here's one example, customer that came in. They are in the healthcare industry. The initial contract was $7,900. Extremely high renewing terms. First they came in, it was a 36-month initial term, okay? They started out with UCaaS and I'm trying to see, network services, so they did our SD-WAN, and then they added on top of it desktop. They added DR. They added services for IT as a service. So from there, the second renewal was in 2012. Or the first renewal was 2012. This next renewal was in 2015, and they're up renewing with us again. So you're looking at, from inception in 2009, where they're going to renew at the end of this year with us, you're looking at 12 years when they're done with this of revenue, and that's billing $17,000 a month. Started out as 7, went to 17. One of our most recent deals started out as a UCaaS deal. It's a healthcare organization, right? They're gobbling each other up. Customer came to us and said, we need Office in a box, right? The first thing they ordered from us was UCaaS. It was a $20,000 voice deal. We implemented that. Then they added their other locations that came off a contract about 6 months later, and it grew to $45,000. The whole time we were talking to them about the other services that we do. Then they started saying, well, if you guys can basically drop, you know, your UC service in there with the contact on top of it so we can basically service our customers, can you deliver the other stuff with the same efficiency and the same reliability that you are on this side? We sat down with them, talked to them about it. Now, it's basically an office in a box. They get their desktop, they get their Office 365, they get IT as a service, so they get support, right? They got DR, they got SD-WAN, they got UCaaS, and they got contact center. The additional revenue that came after that first $55,000 was signed in August, it is $245,000 in additional revenue. So this is a $300,000 account that we started working with less than 18 months ago. And every time they have a new location and they buy someone, they call us and they say, send us a gamut. We send everything over and we basically sunset what's there and they move on to the new platform as soon as possible. It has simplified their life in the IT department so much that their people who were basically managing support and passwords and equipment and everything else are now focusing on strategic initiatives that the company needs to do in order to continue to remain a leader in the space. They're no longer slinging hardware and checking the lights on the box and doing, they are working actively and adding different technologies and solutions that can help them grow as a company. The value of those IT resources right now is 10x of what it was when they just had to manage, and we do the boxes. If you read, there's a book, I don't know if anybody's read The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. One of the things he talks about, and that is really starting to take trend, is outsource anything you can, where you don't have to have bodies and people to do that, where you can get the level of service that you need, and focus on expanding your business in other areas. If you can outsource it, do it, right? And there's a lot of IT people, and there's a lot of businesses, C-level people who are looking at today saying, is this my core business? No. Then I want to outsource this. My core business is healthcare. My core business is M&A in healthcare. My core business is finance. So it's a very, very, we're right now sitting about 156% growth so far this year from the demand that's coming our way. And we're not the only ones. Thank you, Tyler. We're not the only ones out there that are experiencing this. The cloud is here.
What are the chances that customer ever leaves you guys too?
It's very slim. I mean, we know everything about them today, and because we have, a 94% retention rate in our employees, they've been working with the same. So our CTAs are the people that are responsible post-sale, post-install for, that customer's satisfaction level, right? And also they work cross-sell, upsell. They've had, that customer since 2009 has only had 2 CTAs, and the reason they've had 2 is because the first CTA that was promoted into a management role, and now manages a team of 5 CTAs. So that type of consistency and familiarity is very unique in this space for us. So next slide. I keep looking up, and I got it right here. So again, here's our core services. Virtual desktops, desktop as a service, data centers, infrastructure as a service, disaster recovery, contact center, and IP phone systems. But when you look at it, it's a lot deeper than that, right? We talk security. If you look at our network and security services, we have SD-WAN. We provide SD-WAN. We've been doing it for 5 years. We were doing it before SD-WAN was a catchphrase, before Madison Avenue gave it, the tag. And basically, all the security comes with it, with Mimecast, and now we've got, you're traveling on an encrypted, all your traffic's encrypted as you approach our network. And not only do you get QoS upstream, you get QoS downstream, because everything's coming into our platform and traveling both ways through our SD-WAN boxes. Okay, again, just a little breadth in terms of what we do. I don't want to spend too much time on that. So I'll talk quickly about our IP phone systems, because there's a lot of people out there, and there's a lot of similarity between what everybody can do. Everybody has a soft client. Everybody has their UC. Everybody can do chat. Everybody can do call recording. Everybody can do find me, follow me, voicemail, all that stuff. Few of the differentiators that we look at, number one, comes to our service satisfaction level, right, and the customers that we have. But our key is we don't want to change the applications that you use. We want to make your applications work seamlessly with our UC platform, whatever that may be, right? We do probably 50 to 60% of the integrations we do are custom, where the customer has an application where they want to dip into a database and have a screen pop from their proprietary application. And as long as we can get it to be either web-based or get certain parameters covered, we can do that for most of our customers, right? But that's one of the areas. The other thing is really our platform. And we made the decision long ago to go with BroadSoft as our core platform. If you know anything about BroadSoft, it's the largest and most reliable, stable, and scalable platform in all of telecom. They've got a 45% market share in terms of endpoints out there in the industry. If you take the next six competitors, they still do not have anywhere near the 45% market share that BroadSoft has. So what we've done is we've built our own technology, and we've used our own IP to build our own features on top of the core BroadSoft platform, right? So we take BroadSoft at the core. They handle all our call routing and have the foundational software that allows us to put our own IP on top of it and create features and integrations and services for our customer. So these are all the features that if you go out and you talk to any of the players out there today, you're going to find that if they're in the space and they're acknowledged, they've got these. We are Gartner Market Guide acknowledged for North America. In the past 2 years, we've expanded to Europe. We've acquired several companies in Europe that have given us a footprint there, and we've nailed up a BroadSoft switch in Australia. We're providing services also. So we're slowly but surely making that move and being able to provide global services for all of our customers. And here's the footprint. So anything in the dark orange basically that's our UC1 platform on our BroadSoft switch. Looks, feels, and operates like everything we have in the US. The other locations, it's a hybrid. We're going to put a gateway in there, and they're going to use their local provider to terminate their local calls, and anything that goes outside of the local market is going to be routed through our platform. So pretty extensive coverage in terms of where we can go. So let's jump into contact centers. How many people are selling contact center today? Okay, a couple in the room. One of the fastest growing segments in the space. The fastest growing product in our portfolio. Contact center, it's what our standalone contact center and our contact center that lays over our UCaaS is 60% of our revenue. Okay, so it's a big, big number for us, and it's growing on a regular basis. So we have two contact center platforms that we work with, but this is the money slide, okay? If I didn't do this, the marketing people would get mad at me. But the beauty of going to the cloud, right, is that your calls are now queued in the cloud. You don't have to worry about how many PRIs you have or how many SIP trunks you have or do you have enough capacity for your customers basically to get to you. They get to the cloud and they get to the platform because the platform sits in the cloud. No capacity issues, no nothing. The number of customers that we have, we will install them and they will call us and they will go, oh my God, we've got a 22% abandonment rate. What did you do? And our statement usually when we dig into it and look at it is, well, we actually uncovered those calls that were never getting to you because they were getting fast busies because you weren't trunked properly. And you need to staff with more people in order to really handle that volume if you want to take those calls. Those calls weren't even getting to you. Those customers were going somewhere else. We've now identified it. We've got them in the cloud. We can queue them up to go wherever they need to go, push them into a voicemail, give them queue callback. Your wait is now 7 minutes. If you'd like to be called back by one of our representatives, please press 2. And we will basically call them back. They'll hold their place in queue and we will ring them back. So contact center is one of the fastest growing, but it's also one of the areas that's got some complexity to it. And the key, and this is, we've had a couple people that we've talked to about this, and we've got some of our best partners. They will call toll-free numbers for the companies that they in their area or in their reach, and they will listen and see what happens and they will turn around and go in and say, hey, I called you. I had to give somebody an account number 6 times in order to get to where I needed to go. Or I had to, and that's, it's sort of a direct way of getting out there and finding, what customers are having challenges with their contact center. It's unique, but it is effective. The guys that do it find a high probability of speaking to someone and at least being able to get in the door and propose, an engagement. But it is relatively, it's fast growing, but it's a relatively complicated, scenario. It's a longer sale, but it's a bigger sale. We have a customer right now that they're 9,000 seats, and 5,400 of those seats are contact center. And it was probably about a 6-month sales process, 7-month sales process, and the implementation, just, you go from site to site and go through. But it is the gift that keeps on giving because a lot of this, in the business environment where business is getting better right now and they just keep ratcheting up the agents that they have and the money keeps growing. So this basically depicts going to the cloud. Now, instead of those calls being blocked, everything gets called up and queued up in the cloud. And from there, basically, no matter where your people sit, we can deliver a call to them, a remote worker at home, somebody basically on their cell phone, they're in a main office. If they're, wherever they are, we can deliver that call to them right now. And no more, you call somebody at their home and they've basically got a local landline with an answering machine on it or whatever it may, or voicemail through their local provider and you don't know where that call's going. This is now delivered to someone over a phone that we drop on their desk that provides them with just like they're all in the same office. It's like having a contact center and your office is North America or the world for that matter. based on providing the service. And it's a key differentiator for people like Orvis. So I worked with Orvis years ago, and the greatest thing that they thought about being able to hire remote workers, they don't have to hire somebody who's a specialist on fly fishing and wet flies or dry flies that works out of New York City. They've got a guy that sits in his home office in Montana that guides 5 days a week and also works for Orvis as a consultant who talks with their customers about dry flies and wet flies, fishing for trout in, whatever. That being able to hire that kind of talent anywhere in the world is a big differentiator for Contact Center for Business now also. So contact center is a relatively new term in the recent time. It used to be a call center because all you did was collect calls. You had calls coming in and sometimes calls going out. But that has changed, and they were typically inbound only. How it's changed is now it's omni-channel. You can sit at your desk and you can take a call, you can get a text, you can get an email, okay? You can get something from someone via social network. Whatever it may be, there are multiple ways that you now connect with customer. So it was contact center, then it was I'm drawing a blank. But you had 5 platforms that you had to manage in order to do it. Then it became Omni-Center. It's one platform with all those features basically lined up. So you basically go to one interface in order to manage all your calls, right? Standard reporting, you used to just get regular reports. Now you're getting business intelligence reports. We use a company called Burst, which we've integrated into our platform. We take all the calls and services for it, but Burst platform allows you to do deep dive analytics on your call volume and your contact center effectiveness. It used to be you wrote code. This is an old Avaya, I forget what it's actually called, but this is how you wrote call flow in Avaya back in the day. Now, it's much easier. You're diagramming out, what you want to do. You drag and drop where you want that call to go. You add, a voicemail. You add, messaging. You add whatever you need to do wherever you function through. Basic call recording, right? Basic call recording there, and you had to go to a database. You had to pick it up. You had to go through and flow through. Now it's quality monitoring, screening, and call recording that can be dumped right into the Salesforce record for the customer if you want to. I'm managing them in Salesforce, and I want to know the last call recording associated with that call. There's the call, automatically logged in Salesforce, and there's your call recording along with it. Go back and see what was said, what was done, coach your team. Go back and check on what a customer's tone was, what their feeling was, how you got out of that call. Multiple applications for call history, and now it's just one integrated client contact history. Everything they do. It was a phone call, it was a text, it was an email, it was an SMS, it was a phone call as you go through. And we'll show a little bit of that here. But I think one of the big things, there's a lot of players in the space. Five9s, NICE inContact, industry leaders in terms of they were early to the game and they've established themselves as key players. We've been in the call center for many, many years, and as I said, 9,000 seat customer. It's a big portion of our business. We're recently into the omni-channel contact center through an acquisition that we made, right? And the difference for us is we can now deliver services 2 ways. If that customer has a PBX sitting on their site, and this is how NICE inContact and Five9s deliver, PBX or an existing provider on site sitting there, they will deliver over the top. And your call center will operate here, and your local phone system will operate here, and then you dive through and you basically forward calls out to get back in. You don't have presence, you don't necessarily see what everybody's up to, whether there are meetings. In an overlay and we can do it the same way. However, what we can do is we can layer our contact center on top of our UC. So our IP PBX, right, in the cloud. So now everybody can see presence. Everybody can see what the meetings are. It's a 4-digit dial to forward a call to finance if you get a call in the contact center and there's a problem. So it's that integration is what a lot of customers are looking for this day in order to incorporate the whole company into that customer experience, or sorry, CX, as everybody seems, is sort of jumping on today. Big differentiator for us. Here's just an example. If you look, the red area is incoming phone call, incoming chat, incoming email. The thing here is they all look the same. The difference is it's just an incoming email or an incoming chat. It identifies it in that one field, but all your reporting, your fields, and everything that you do is the same. Another, and we talked about this earlier, is Q Callback. Feature we rolled out very early on our BroadSoft platform, also available on our omnichannel, where if you have someone that's on a call and on hold, rather than have them wait and have them abandon the call, we can schedule a call back. This one's going to be easy because Andrew already took us through a lot of the desktop as a service. The similarity between our companies in this area is significant. I mean, we do a lot of the same things. We use a lot of the same vendors, Mimecast, Fortinet, and the others. But on what I want to touch is sort of how do we identify and find these, right? You really need to be at the C-level in order to sell this product. Because if you, like Andrew said, if you match it up dollar for dollar, your finance guy or your IT guy is not going to be able to fathom, typically sit there and go, well, I manage all this stuff and I've got some job security because half of what we need to know is up here, half of it's in the C-level guy is going to get it because he's going to see that there are other areas that are, that this can impact. And again, reallocating resources towards more critical business, right? If you hear security, they're talking about their desktops or their PCs, and you hear security, you want to dig in a little deeper because this is, security-wise, you can see significant improvements and ease of management when it comes to security on all these desktops operating. If you hear mobility, my people need to work someplace other than their desk. This is it. This is what you really need to be focusing on, right? If you hear growth, right? I'm growing, I'm expanding, I've got people all over the place, right? I'm managing things all over the country, we're growing too fast. Those are other topics, right? In terms of growth, it's easy to just add a user. They can have, an iPad, they can have a Chromebook, whatever they want. They download an app, which basically is their VMware Horizon desktop. They put in their credentials, and they've got their desktop right there. Every new user's just set up like that. If you lose a device, you break a device, you pour water on the device, get a new device, download your app, go in, and you have your desktop and all of your stuff is still there. I mean, the cost of replacing a PC that's not backed up or doesn't operate in a virtual environment is pretty hefty when you talk about the intellectual knowledge that's on there, the productivity loss of starting fresh on a new PC and working through that. So C-level people love this because CapEx, they reduce their CapEx by deploying desktops as a service, right? You don't have to buy a $1,500 IBM PC or $1,900 Apple. You can buy a $329 Chromebook or whatever it may be, and it'll work exactly the same because the iOS is basically out in the cloud and being delivered. They love it because it centralizes security and administration. They love it because the data is stored in the cloud, not on the desktop, as we said. Gain access to their desktops from any device at any time, and administrators now can do full control of all of these desktops from a single location, not just their virtual desktops, but our solution allows them to do it on their physical desktops also and give them visibility into that. So it's a big play there with your C-level. And again, it's not a price play. It's I need to be more efficient, or I'm spinning cycles managing all the things that are associated with these desktops. We give you Windows Desktop. It's basically Windows Desktop in the cloud. Security's all there between Trend Micro and PCO IP. Bring any device you want, and a web-based portal. Yeah.
So when you're deploying the virtual desktops,
yes.
They still need to buy actual PCs.
They need to buy, so let me take a step further. They need to have a device, right? It could.
For all intents and purposes, a business, they need to have a PC PC so that they can log onto the PC, double click the virtual desktop, and everything pops up.
Yes. Or thin client, that's where I was going. So
Maintaining, who's the IT leader on the ground that is troubleshooting the actual device, the gateway device?
So the device, if it's device that's gone bad, we partner with some companies that can actually provide lifecycle management on those devices, cycle them through when they're ready to be renewed in those areas. We will manage all the way down to the application. We'll help troubleshoot. But if it's device, we partner with people who can come in and do that. Device is not managed by us, except if we work with Dell now, and we provide basically as a thin client, it's about this big. Side of the desk, all you need is a keyboard and a terminal, okay? And that gives you access to your desktop. And we have lifecycle
Is the thin client customizable?
In terms of
Like the specs on the thin client?
everything sits in the cloud. You're not storing anything on your desktop because there is no desktop, right? Everything's virtual, but it is customizable.
But the speed to access that,
Has everything to do with your IP. I mean, we can't. If you have good internet, no issues. I live in rural northern New Jersey. I decided that I wanted to be out of the city after several years of running myself ragged. I don't have FiOS or any of those services.
so let's say we have all thin clients like distributed.
Yep.
There's a problem with the thin client, who then services that if it's a Dell thin client?
We will ship that thin client as a replacement, or you can have thin clients on spare thin clients there to do it with. So it's pretty easy.
Okay, so you still technically, if there's no internal IT department, and they have previously been relying on an outsourced IT company, you still need an outsourced IT company to be involved.
Excellent statement, right? You're exactly dead on. We don't replace. I mean, the worst thing that we want to hear is, I just got rid of my IT and we want you guys to manage everything. We can't make decisions on what the right solutions are for you and we can't decide how you administer certain things. You need an IT leader to do that. That's like the fox in the hen house, right? Hey, we're just going to do this, right? So there needs to be an IT group. It can be a small IT group because we can augment them with a lot of people and a lot of services, but there needs to be an IT group. And if there is no IT group, there needs to be someone, MSP or whoever it may be, that knows their environment that we can work with to make certain decisions, provide us with the passwords, the keys, and the stuff that we need to get in and do the things we need to do when we're working with them.
All right, one more question.
Yeah,
Let's say there's just an IT director, 300 users.
yeah.
Do you have an arrangement with a third-party vendor that you could rebill and say, hey, listen, we're going to take care of all your virtual desktops, your thin clients, and when you have a problem with it, we're going to use this company to come in and so that you don't have to touch any devices or anything like that?
Yeah, so as of this moment, okay, they're separate invoices. There's our invoice and there's an agreement that happens, but we've worked, the partner that we're working with, we're in active discussions about how we sort of get to that point.
Okay, because if you can do that,
Yeah.
then I think that you have a game-changing platform
Yep.
to do true managed IT or, be an MSP.
Yep. Well, that's the thing, and Andrew said it earlier. I mean, we run into a lot of MSPs that are, feel threatened by what we do and how we do it. The message is that, for us, this is going to shake out where virtually everybody's going to go to the cloud. I mean, a high proportion of the clients out there are going to go to the cloud and buy cloud services. They can buy it from someone like us, right, or any of the other vendors that are in the portfolio here. They're going to want to go there. You're either, as an MSP, at some point you got to consider who do you partner with in order to outsource those services that you don't need to, you don't need to have bodies on site and deal with the costs of that and everything. I mean, that's the biggest thing MSPs are dealing with now. They're losing those services and they got engineers on staff that have nothing to do because now the stuff's being outsourced in there. Where do you focus them? What do you do with them? So it's going to play out. The MSP conversation is tricky. It is absolutely tricky. Okay? Yep. So, partner portal. We have a partner portal that allows you to go in, register deals. The beauty of registering the deal through the portal is it immediately gets logged and it gets passed to the proper person. Tyler is your channel advisor, and he would work you. If Tyler goes on vacation, I can click a button in the portal and make sure it goes to someone else, so it doesn't sit in his inbox as an email for 5 days when he's on vacation, and you guys trying to get a lead to us and get us to respond quickly. So the portal also provides access to webinars. It provides access to recorded webinars, content, collateral that you can basically co-brand and send out to your customers. It also has a platform that allows you to upload to a third party a prospect list and send content out, and they will notify you every time somebody downloads that piece of content. So it's a little marketing tool that we offer to our partners they can get. We don't get the list. The list goes to a third party. They send it, and you get an email every time somebody downloads and says, Joe from ABC Company just downloaded your disaster recovery as a service piece, and you pick up the phone and you get to Joe as soon as possible, because the propensity to buy when you get to him within 2 hours is about 10x if you call him the next day, right? So all of that is there. Information, our knowledge base, anything that you need in terms of going in and finding out, the core. And then Tyler's always available, as a person that you can call and ask that quick question. There you go. Everything's there. New marketing thing. Tyler, you got the playbooks? So one of the things that we've developed years ago that we continue to use and we continue to get accolades from partners is something called our partner playbook. Basically, what this is, just an overview of who is Evolve IP, what do we do, how do we do it, what's our history, and then it goes into each individual product category that we have. So you see, what's our platform? What are the benefits? What are the key questions you can ask? What are the key differentiators? It's a tool that our partners use when they're on the phone and they're talking to prospects to sort of gather their thoughts and say, okay, here's what I want to touch and here's the questions I want to ask. It's available online through our partner portal, and we also, we print hundreds and hundreds, I don't know, maybe even over 1,000 of these things during the year that for partners that are asking for, what's your 2018 variant? And we renew it every year. We update it every year with the new content and new information as we go through. And this is the other money slide, right? So we get tremendous accolades from our customers, and just the satisfaction rate that we have and the fact that, they renew for many, many years. We're 10 years old, coming up on 11 years, and our average customer age is 7 years. Even at the volume that we're adding customers now, we're still at 7. We're about to drop to 6 as an average year because we're adding so many new customers that are going to be 1 year, less than 1 year. But that satisfaction rate is huge. So what we decided was, we've got a great product, we've got a great delivery team. We need to get the name out there. Private equity investment about 2 years ago. We've been building the channel team for the last 2 years, and this was the year that we decided we're going to put some spiffs out there that sort of help us get that name out there. And if you look, basically anywhere from 2x to 5x on UCaaS, depending on the size of the deal, and 1x to 3x on the compute side, depending on the size of the deal. There's a maximum of $250,000, guys. I hate to disappoint you, but there is a max of $250,000. But we've had 4 partners max out this year alone at $250,000 in spiff. So there's money to be made. There's business to be had. The cloud is that transition that you just have to figure out when you can make that pivot and get there. But, we're here to help with the portfolio that we have. We can give you many different entry points into those customers in order to have that conversation in a single source that brings them all together as a strategy, right, that provides long-term revenue growth and stickiness. Any questions? Going once. Usually I'm the only thing between presentation and alcohol. Today, I'm the only thing between the presentation and lunch. So, all right, if there's no questions, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.